If you're a creative and on the internet, you may have heard about the 100-Day Project, and you're wondering, what is it? Why does it exist? How do I get involved? How do I make something for 100 days? Well, today I will try to give you some tips. So stay tuned for 11 tips on how to get through the 100-Day Project. So number one, or I guess step 0, is what is the 100-Day Project? Now, the 100-Day Project is basically creating something for 100 days. What can you make? Anything. You can draw, you can paint, you can illustrate, you can write a poem, you can just write a sentence, you can sing, play an instrument, whatever you'd like for 100 days. That's it. It starts on April 3rd, 2018. This is for 2018, obviously. Every year it starts at some point in the springtime. And that's the premise. So, how do you get started? So, the very first thing I would say is pick one thing. Either pick one medium to work with, like watercolor, markers, pencil, whatever. One topic. So you could do 100 days of drawing apples. So you could use different materials to draw your apples, but you have one topic. Or you can say, I'm going to do 100 days of watercolors. So you could do watercolor drawings of fruits, or you could do 100 days of watercolor quotes, or whatever. But it's kind of the idea of, if you have one topic and one material, it kind of it kind of stops you from having decision paralysis. As we all know, we have a lot of options here. Like, we can use all sorts of art supplies, we can use all sorts of tools, and there are so many topics that you can write about or draw about or whatever. So you really, really want to focus on something. Okay, so now you have your idea. The next step, I would say, that's really, really helpful, is to create 100 ideas for your topic. Now, I had last year created this list in my bullet journal. Kind of don't want to record everything that's here. Some of these things are on Instagram, but as you see, 15-minute project ideas, 1 through 35, 36 to 70, and yes, I did just move my hand, but that's okay, and I guess that's all you get. But yeah, so basically, my project last year was to make 100 projects that took 15 minutes, specifically craft projects. So my main focus was time. So I gave myself a 15-minute allotment every day to create something. I had this crazy list of things that I've been wanting to make, and sometimes it was more like, well, if I give myself 15 minutes each day, then I can do a little bit of each part of a project. So I could break down a larger project into many, many smaller things, or it could be one very small project that I just finish in one day. So that is the idea. So please think of, at least 20 ideas for the first 20 days. So that way you're prepared in advance. Because there's going to be that day where you're just so tired from the day, you came home from work or school or whatever, and you're like, oh my God, now I have to make something. It's day 7. I have no ideas. What am I supposed to do? You just open your notebook and you're like, oh wait, I have 20 ideas here. I'll just make one of these. And it's very, very simple. So that's it. So step number 3 is put it in your planner. This is the most important thing too. You want to plan ahead with ideas, but you also want to plan ahead for your time. So I will show you my planner here. So as you can see, I have stated the 100-day project begins, and I have post number 1, post number 2, post number 3, post number 4, post 5, 6. So here I will include what idea I want for that day, and I'll mark it off. So you need to make sure that you put it front and center in your planner or somewhere that you're going to see every day. That way you remember to do it, and then you mark it off. So not only do you have your finished product, but you can also have that nice little checkbox, which always feels nice. So number 4, I would say, give yourself a time limit. How much time do you realistically have each day that you can allot to this project? Do you have 15 minutes every day that you can do? I mean, the problem with a lot of these challenges is that you come up with these amazing ideas, and then you're like, wait a minute, this is actually going to take me 2 hours to make, and then you end up spending 2 hours every night for the first 5 nights, and then you're like, wait a minute, now I can't keep this up, so you need to be very, very realistic with your time. So what can you make in 20 minutes? And if you have more time that day, then great, then you can make something even more complicated. But always ask yourself, what can I make with just like 15-20 minutes, and make that your basic project, and then see how much you can add to that. So that brings me to number 5. In addition to planning your time, plan your space. This is so important. So make sure you have, pretend this is my work area. Make sure you have your tools, you have whatever you need to make your project every day. Let's say I was going to be coloring or making something with cutting, or if I wanted to be lettering, I have my lettering pen available, or if I were to just be writing, I have my pen available, or whatever. Make sure you have your tools and your space ready every day so that you can start working. The last thing you want to do is come home tired and you're like, oh great, now I have to clean my desk. Oh, where are those scissors? Where is that marker? Just make sure that you have everything available so when you come back to your project, you just can sit down and get started. So number 6 is, this is the hardest part. Be patient with yourself. This is a process for everyone to just be creative and learn, and you will have bad days. You will have a day where the project doesn't go the way you thought it would. It looked better in your head than it looks on paper, or it sounds better in your head than it sounds, there just will be those days. So be patient with yourself. I know it's harder said than done. Easier said than done, but you need to remember that you will have some really good days. You'll have some work that you're so proud of, and then there will be days that you won't be so proud of them. And that's okay. Not every project has to be perfect. It's 100 days. You can't be 100 days perfect. You can't. That's just very unlikely. So give yourself some grace and just be okay with having bad days, and just prepare yourself for this mentally beforehand. Now, number 7. This is a question about social media. So I would say, now, should I start an Instagram account just for this project? Maybe. Do you want to have 100 days of the same kind of posts all the time to your friends and family? If that's okay with you, then just go on ahead and use your personal account. But I personally like using a craft account specifically for craft projects, and a personal account for personal projects, or personal photos rather. So now you want to make sure that this is actually a personal preference. I feel like there's some people who don't really care if they put up their personal stuff on their personal page and their craft stuff or creative stuff. It's really up to you. Honestly, there's so many people who do both, and I don't really see any difference. It's really up to you. So that's it. That's all I got. Number 8. So in terms of social media, post your best work. If you don't want to post every day, That's okay. Like I was saying, you will have some bad days, right? So if you don't feel comfortable posting that bad day picture, then don't post it. Just post your best ones. But you can also get around this by doing like a roundup post, because now on Instagram you can do slideshows. So you can have your main photo be your best photo, right? And then the other 6 photos will be the lesser good ones, I guess you could say. So that way they're not like in your main feed. This also kind of helps with you not taking over your entire feed for 100 days of 100 photos. You can only have, I guess, 100 divided by 7, however many that is, and just have, that many posts. So you can do like one roundup a week. And that's also a really great way to keep your feed like nice and varied. You can include everything else and also be able to post your daily posts, or daily photos rather. Now, number 9 is, you want to use the 100-day project hashtag for your project, right? But you should also create a unique hashtag for your specific project. So the 100-day project is good for the community, so that way people who are doing this project will find you. That means that anyone who's doing a 100-day project will be able to find you on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. But you also want a very, very specific hashtag. So like you could make 100 days of coding Craftic. Now this will be my project this year. I will be working on coding craftic.com version 2.0. I didn't think the version 2 is necessary, but this will be it. So this will make a very, very specific, unique hashtag, which means that if I ever want to link to my posts in a blog post, for example, you can specifically say like instagrams.com/explore tags/100 days of coding Craftic, and only my posts will show up from my project. It also just makes it easier if you want to like send someone a link and be like, oh, check out this project that I'm working on. They can go directly to that link outside of Instagram. So yeah, so this will be a great way to find you, and yeah, make sure to search for this before you start, because you never know. 100 days of like watercolor, that one is definitely taken. If you don't care, if you can't find your specific project, then that's okay. I guess you can use something more generic, but I really recommend a specific domain or hashtag. And what else is there? So now you have number 10. So inevitably, you will have days that you will be tired, you won't have time, maybe you're on vacation, and you just can't bring your project with you. That's okay. Now, take some time off, take the days off, catch up when you get back, or just start where you left off. If you had to take a week off because you got sick, then pick up where you left off and keep going. Not everyone goes at the same pace. Like, this is very, very common. Like, you will see people even a month after the project has ended, and they will keep posting because they fell behind or whatever, because life happens. So just be okay with that. And of course, number 11, which is my favorite tip, enjoy the process. That's all you can do. Just have fun with it. Like, if you don't get to 100 days, that's okay. If you made even 50 things, that's a whole lot more than you would have made anyway, right? Like, how often do you get to make something for 50 days? So even if you don't get through the full 100, it's okay. And just enjoy it. Make all the cool things you want. Make those ideas happen. Don't just keep them in that list. Last year I got to day 75, I think, and I'm actually pretty happy with that, because before that I had only done 30-day projects, and I was really impressed when I even got past 30. So to make it to 75, that was kind of impressive, and this year I'm hoping to make it to the full 100. But I did enjoy it, and I had a lot of fun making new things and experimenting and seeing where they took me. So that's it. 11 ways to prep for a 100-day project. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below, of course. And if you have any questions for me, always ask. You can always ask me via Instagram, where I'm at Craftic Land. I will leave all my links below in the description box, of course. And if you would like to see more of this kind of like prep informational kind of video, let me know. Yeah, and anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.